So good evening. It's the 6th of January. We're going to start lightly, moving energy through the digestive system, a bit of TLC for kidneys. Kidneys tend to become depleted. Kidney energy depletes in winter time. So we'll think a little bit about that. We're going to set an intention for kindness, and hopefully that intention can help us to bridge between the work that we do on the mat and what we take from our practice into our everyday lives. So just sit for a moment here and make a connection to your breath. It might be your first practice back this year, this new year. You can just close your eyes and take a long inhale. And a long exhale. And just notice how good that first conscious breath of your practice feels. You can bring your hands in front of your heart. And you can set your intention, your resolution. You might have your own that you're working with. If you don't have one, work with the intention of kindness. And you say it to yourself. So I am kind. I am kind. And when you feel that you're ready, you can take yourself onto your back. We're going to come into a semi-supine position. And here we're just going to begin with a twist. So we'll maybe move the hips a little bit over to the right side of the yoga mat, the knees over to the left. Slide your feet forward a little bit. So rather than tucking your feet up behind your butt, behind your hips, you offer your feet forward a little bit and then open out through your right arm. If you need some support here, you can put a block or even your hand or your arm underneath the outside of your left leg. We just want to come lightly into our first twist. So this moves energy beautifully through your digestive system. You'll feel opening into your side waist and into maybe the back of your waist as well, maybe into the kidney space in the back here, all around your ascending colon on this side. And just breathe in a way that helps you to flush energy through your body. You can close your eyes. And you'll feel the tight spots, you'll feel the resistance. You can breathe into those tight spots so you direct your breath. You can free your neck by moving your head a little bit side to side. You sigh away and let go of some of your tension and holding. We'll take another 2 or 3 breaths here. So often in January we tend to feel quite heavy. Our enthusiasm might be low. We might feel a bit diminished. We just want to begin by encouraging the energy to move, to flow. So we start to feel a little bit brighter, maybe a little bit more enthusiastic. You can change the side when you're ready, so you just bring it back up to the center, move your hips back onto the midline. Just check your symmetry before you do the other side, and then you move your hips over to the left. Your knees are coming over to the right, and again you can take support, use your arm or blocks or a cushion, and you open up through your left arm. Squeeze out your neck. Just find the most comfortable place for your neck. Recall your intention. Maybe you can bring that intention for kindness into your practice here. Soften a little bit. Breathe more deeply so that you encourage again the breath into those tight spots. You feel space around, on this side, your descending colon, again into your back waist, your quadratus lumborum, your kidney space. You take another 2 or 3 breaths here. So if we usually feel heavy in January, how do we feel in lockdown January? Do we feel lower or less enthusiastic than we normally would in January? We're going to think about this a little bit over the next few practices and just try and brighten a little bit. Find some really nice positive energy. So one more breath here. And then we just come back to our center. So again, use your feet to bring you back into the center. You square your hips. Find your midline again. And we're just going to open up our belly space. This is another really nice way of just rinsing energy through your digestive system, all the way through your body. So you lift your hips. Let's check the alignment in your feet. So if you've been off the mat for a little bit over Christmas, really come back into your mindfulness as you begin your practices again. Lifting your hips doesn't have to be strong or forceful. So with the intention that we've set this evening for kindness and compassion, we really want to bring that right into our practice. So leave the ambition, leave the kind of competitive nature or the ego out of the practice completely. You're just finding space here. Find space in your front body, through your belly. You lift your hips, you feel opening. Maybe these hip flexors feel a little bit tight if you've been sitting, if you've been watching a lot of movies, a lot of DVD box sets. You might feel a little bit tight here in your hip flexors or through your thighs. You can open your arms up and over your head. Maybe the shoulders and the chest feel a little bit tight. Just notice where you are, where you're beginning from, how you feel. Take 1 or 2 breaths. You can lift a little bit higher if it feels easy. Make sure there's no pressure in your lower back. And try and create like a Buddha belly here. So really big breath. You want to feel your belly swell and open. And then when you're ready, you can release down. So just trickle down through your spine, vertebra at a time. And then we bring the knees in slowly towards the chest. So you come into Apanasana here. Just hug your knees in. We'll hug. Squeeze in just a bit more firmly on your exhale and release away slightly on your inhale. So again, you're just encouraging the movement of energy. Exhaling, you squeeze in. Inhaling, you move away. And you just make the most of the hug. We're all feeling a little bit short on hugs at the moment. So when you're ready, you can roll yourself up. We're going to bring ourselves into Sukhasana. So you don't have to turn. I'm going to turn so that I'm facing you. You can use a block again for support. And you just find your most comfortable seat. So it doesn't have to be a lotus pose, doesn't have to be anything strong or impressive, just a comfortable seat. Your hands can be wherever you're comfortable. They can be in your lap, on your thighs. You can bring your hands onto your torso so that you really check in with your breathing. Maybe close the eyes. Try and equalize your inhale and your exhale. So that both are about 4 seconds long. Really soft Ujjayi ocean breath here. So you're controlling, you're regulating your breathing. We connect to the feeling of rising energy, of prana-vayu on our inhalation. And grounding energy, grounding force on our exhalation, so apana-vayu. And we feel expansion on our inhalation, rising, lifting, expansive energy. There's a contractive quality as we exhale, so grounding and firming towards the center as we exhale. And just notice how good it feels to be connecting again to your breath. When you're ready, you can take your arms all the way up. We're going to interlace our hands and press the palms up towards the ceiling. Try and elongate through both sides of your waist. Try and elongate your spine. Try not to bring too much tension into your neck or your shoulders. And then take an easy twist to your right, so you feel engagement in your obliques as you turn. You stay for a breath or two. Try and keep the length here as you turn. Try and keep the space as you turn. And then you can release into a softer twist. So your hands come down, your left hand can come around and towards your right knee. Your right hand can come to the floor behind your sacrum, or you can take your right hand all the way around and just find your left thigh. Remember that you're not creating stress or strain, so recall your intention again. We can release and come all the way back up. Interlace again, just press up, make the space. And then when you're ready, turn to your left. You keep the energy just lifting, but keep the tension out of your shoulders as much as you can. Releasing into a softer twist, so right hand comes over to left knee, left hand can come behind your sacrum all the way around towards your right thigh. Make sure you're not forcing, no stress or strain. And then you're still really moving breath and energy, so concentrate on that balance between your inhale and your exhale, maybe 4 seconds in each direction. and release when you're ready. We're going to slide the feet forward. So again, I'm going to turn, but you don't need to. You make sure that you have the outer edges of your feet here on the mat. You can even use a little bit more padding, a blanket if you need to, if it feels a bit sensitive on your feet. And we're going to come into a forward fold. So we want to lift the chest first and make space, and then releasing into a butterfly pose, just really slowly coming into this. Now, I find that it really helps just to sort of ripple in and out of this a few times. So if you lift a little bit on your inhale, draw your breastbone forward, try and make some space as if you're taking your ribs away from your pelvis, you're elongating a little bit, and then you just drop back down and into your fold. If you can let your head go, if you can let your head hang, the weight of your head will help you to just traction out and release your spine. But do that again. So you inhale, you come up, you draw your breastbone forward, you make some space. And then you release slowly and back into your fold. A little bit deeper each time. You might want to do that again. Certainly, if you feel that it benefits, you just come up again, you tease out a little bit more space, and then you release. You're not pushing or pulling, you're giving to gravity. So remember that intention to be kind, just willing to let go and release. No stress or strain, no force. You can turn your palms up if you like. You can hold your feet wherever you're comfortable. I'm going to go palms up. And then just experiment a little bit. Try and breathe into your back ribs. So you open up some space there. Try and breathe into your kidney space, your lower back, and you create some space there around your breath. Into your upper back, so behind your heart. And you should feel, as you breathe, a little bit supported by those inhales, a little bit buoyant as you inhale. And then there's some softening down, some deepening as you exhale. Take one more breath. When you're ready, just roll yourself up slowly. You know you can stay for longer. Bring yourself slowly up, and we're coming over and onto our hands and knees, so we're coming into a tabletop pose. And just find your foundation. Again, especially if you've been off the mat for a little while, really make sure that you connect, that you arrive in the foundation of each posture. Spread out your fingers, turn your toes under. And then just a really simple Madhyasana here, but super slowly. So you're going to round your back, draw your tail under. You should feel connection to your pelvic floor, to Mula Bandha, as you draw your tail under. You feel your lower abdominals. Your navel draws towards your spine. Your lower back opens. You feel your back ribs spread, your head bows down, you release your neck, and just stay here for a moment or two. Again, really send your breath into your lower back. Notice a bit of space, a bit of expansion as you inhale. And the way your abdomen contracts towards your spine as you exhale. A little squeeze in towards your center as you exhale. Breathe into your back ribs, into your upper back. And then you move the other way and you open your frontal space. So you come into a happy cat pose. You bring your breastbone forward. You open your belly space. Make sure you're not collapsing into your lower back or your shoulders here. Really try and open up space between your pubic bone and your breastbone. Then again, just nice clear breaths. You're rinsing the energy through. Notice how this posture feels energizing. Good, you bring yourself back to neutral spine, and then a lateral stretch. So you're going to take your right foot slightly off the edge of your mat, your right foot and your low leg. You're not moving your knee. And then you're going to swing to the right slightly with your gaze and look towards your right foot. You push your ribs a little bit over to the left, and you're kind of squeezing into your right side here, like you're trying to squeeze your ascending colon, squeeze into your kidney space a little bit. Look right over to the side. You feel opening in the opposite side, in the left side, like you're fanning out your left side ribs, and you can just try and pull that left shoulder forward a little bit, your right shoulder back a little bit. Perfect. And then come back to neutral. We take a thread needle here, so your right arm is threading through underneath your left arm, and you're bringing your right shoulder just to the floor. You find a nice easy twist here, so it doesn't have to be too much, doesn't have to be too deep, just a nice easy twist. And you can press the back of your right arm, your right shoulder into the floor, and then as if you're trying to draw yourself slightly over to the right, and you kind of feel this this right shoulder blade like it's moving away from the midline as you press a little bit over to the right. Maybe you deepen your twist a little bit more. Optionally, this left arm can come around and bind to your inner right thigh, depending on how deeply you want to take your twist. You take another breath or two here. When you come out of here, you come straight into a lovely twist in the other direction. So the right arm comes up and you open all the way through your heart lines. No stress or strain in your neck. One more breath. Good. And then you come slowly down and you bring yourself back to neutral. And we're just going to do that same sequence to the other side. So you'll take your left toes just off the edge of the mat. You swing to the left, you look towards your left toes. But remember, you're pressing a little bit over to the right with your right side ribs. You're drawing your right shoulder forward, slightly your left shoulder back. It's like you're squeezing into your left side waist or around your descending colon, into your left side kidney space. Still really clear breath, really rinsing energy through. You come back to your center and you thread through with your left arm. So your left arm coming through underneath your right. You thread as far through as you're comfortable to go. You drop the back of your left arm, your left shoulder to the floor. You can press with your right hand and just send the energy a little bit over to the left, so you feel that left shoulder blade just sliding away from your midline, around over your back ribs, making a little bit more space. And then if we want to go deeper into our twist, we can bring that arm all the way around and connect our right fingertips to our inner left thigh. One more breath. And then coming into your twist. So we're opening the heart as we come into this. Taking the left arm up. And again, you can kind of tease your way into it. Really feel that you're opening up all the way through your heart lines. If it's too much for your neck, you know, you can look down. You don't have to look up. One more breath. Good, you're releasing down. And we're just going to drop back and into child's pose. So you sit back on your heels, reach your arms forward, open up and lengthen. Maybe rock a little bit side to side as you come into your child's pose. Creep your fingers a bit further forward. Release your forehead to the floor and breathe here. And notice if you feel more spacious, if there's more space already in the sides of your body, between your side ribs, around your shoulders. And just take a couple of breaths there in your child's pose and balasana. Explore all of those spaces, you know, into your lower back, into your kidney space, into your lung space, your back ribs, your posterior breathing space, in between your shoulder blades and behind your heart. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself up and into tabletop pose again and check in with your foundation. So you're spreading out your fingers. And in your own time, you come into downward facing dog. Now relax your neck first, soften your elbows, find the roots in your toes and press back. And you should effortlessly come up and into your dog. Now any inversion is great for our digestive system, for our circulation, for our lymphatic flow. So you take a few breaths in your inversion, partial inversion, downward dog, let the head hang. Take the exhalations all the way to completion, so you feel the abdomen gathering towards your spine as you exhale. Lift your sit bones maybe a little bit high. You can pedal your feet if you need to, if your hamstrings feel really tight. And again, if you've been sitting more than usual or a lot over Christmas, your hamstrings might feel tight. If it feels okay, you can take your right leg up. So your right leg ascends into a split dog or a three-legged dog. Nice and steady, all nice and steady. And just bring that leg through for a lunge. So you gather in towards you and you go slowly. So you're not using momentum, you're in no hurry. You're not throwing your leg through, you're drawing through slowly and placing that right foot in between your hands. Square your right hip back. You bring your heart forward. Now we want the heart space, the chest open. If it's a real struggle for you, if you know that you're rounding your back, if you can feel that that's going on here, bring a couple of blocks or books or anything that you have to hand just to raise the floor a little bit so that you can open your heart a little bit more. You want a long line from your heel, your left heel, all the way through if you can to the crown of your head. And you rinse the breath through here. Reach back through that left heel. Slowly lower your left knee. And again, the hip flexors here might feel a tiny bit tight. You might want to repeat that action. You might want to lift the knee again and just see if you can tease out more of the tightness in the front of your left thigh. One or two breaths. And then when you're When you're ready, you transition back and into your downward dog. So try and make the transition here nice and smooth. Step back. You find your dog again. In time, when you're ready, you find your split dog again. Lift into your left heel. A lot of us here, myself included, can easily come into overextending the standing leg. You see my right leg here, maybe overextending the knee a little bit. So just try and keep that slightly bent, that right leg, so you're not overextending your knee. Lift into your left heel and then bring it through slowly again for the lunge. You reach back with your right heel, you square your left hip back. You can employ the blocks again if that helps you to create space. You reach back through your right heel, keep bringing your heart forward. Try and take rounding out of your upper back. Slow lower with the knee. Really slow. The slower you go, the more you'll tease the tension out of the front of your thigh and your hip flexors. Maybe repeat, so you come up again. Lower down. And just pause in your lunge and notice again how it feels. It's good just to be stretching the tightness out of our bodies again, finding some space. One more breath. Good. Your transition is back into downward facing dog. So you can plant your hands, step back. Take a breath, a long inhale. And a long exhale. Ripple forward and come into your plank. And just see if you can stabilize there for a moment. You hover, nice strong lines. Try not to lock your elbows, keep your elbows a little bit soft. Your front hugs towards your back, so your front supports your back, and then slowly lower to the floor. You just come into a prone position, so all the way down, wiggle out and lengthen. Now pull your legs back, so your legs are nice and long, and we're just coming into a really simple sphinx pose, so we're opening our frontal space. So you keep charging your legs lengthen back. You draw your heart, your breastbone forward. And again, you notice how extension, spinal extension, opening your belly, abdominal extension, opening your heart, it activates our energy, it enlivens. You keep the legs working, drawing back. It's like you're slightly tucking your tail, so you're pressing into your pubic bone, slightly tucking your tail, and at the same time you're using your forearms to help you draw your breastbone, your heart forward. So we're not just hanging in our lower backs, we're not collapsing, we're asking for opening, for space, through the lower back, so we don't experience that pinching feeling. And then just really clarify your breath. Long inhales and long exhales. When you're ready, you can sit back towards your heels, so you come into child's pose, and you might notice like a feeling of fragility in your back as you transition from extension into flexion. So we just maybe go a little bit more slowly, reaching back but reaching forward also. So there's opening in your lower back into your kidney space. You bring your head to the floor. You take a big inhale and a long exhale. When you're ready, you can bring yourself up and directly over and onto your back. So we come back into semi-supine. And just notice how the energy feels again, how you feel. How it feels really good just to have got on the mat again this first time of the new year. Just to move and wake up our energy, clear away some of that heavy feeling. We're just going to bring a little squeeze into our inner leg lines. So cross your right leg over your left leg and bring the legs in towards you here. You take hold of either the back of the left leg or the front of the left shin and you draw in. You can squeeze the legs together for the first instance here. You can rock a little bit in this posture just to help you settle in. You're opening your outer right hip. You take one more breath. We'll release our left foot to the floor. You might want to straighten out your right leg and then bring it back in, and you're coming into it's like a half stirrup pose. So your right thigh comes as close in towards your right side as you can. You can hold the back of your right thigh, the calf, the ankle, or you can take the outer edge of your right foot here. Try and bring your thigh in so that the front of your thigh, your quads, are putting a little bit of pressure on the right side of your torso. Pressure into your belly. And you kind of breathe against that pressure, you breathe into it. So you feel your belly pressing towards your leg as you inhale. And your leg should soften in towards you a little bit more as you exhale. Again, long inhale. And long exhale. And you can release again. And just notice how that right side feels. Really grounded. A bit of energy moving around your right hip, and just do the same 2 postures to the other side. So left leg comes over your right leg, you bring your legs in, hold to the back of your right thigh or the front of your right shin. You settle into your posture. Breathe here. You try and breathe deeply into your pelvic space, deeply down towards your hips. And then when you're ready, you just change the position. So the right foot on the floor. Again, you might just want to stretch out your left leg, just release the pressure here in the front of your hip and your hip flexors, and then bring it in to half stirrup pose. So you're trying to bring your thigh all the way in towards your belly. If this is too difficult, you can always change it up here to single leg Apanasana. One more breath. Good. And then slow down. And you just take a moment here again to notice how you feel. If there's anything that you need to do to balance out your body, you go ahead here. You might want to rock your legs. You might just want to hug your knees in towards you, maybe circle and massage into your back. You can come into either semi-supine or shavasana whenever you feel that you're ready. With your feet on the floor or your legs out long. You can have your hands on your belly, or you can have your arms at your sides. Either way, you want space between your elbows and your side ribs. Make sure you're not kind of hugging in. So elbows away a little bit, and then either palms up, hands on the floor, or turning in and putting your hands on your belly. This is kind of my winter preference, bringing my hands onto my belly. It just feels like I'm gathering the energy back into my center. We're just going to take a few breaths here for today. So if you want a longer shavasana, you can just pause the recording and take a 10, 15, 20 minutes of asana if you feel like you need to or you'd like to. We're just moving breath now without any effort at all. The inhalation finds the new space in your body. And as you exhale, you can let go of whatever you need to let go of. So if there is tension, if there is stress, if you are worried, maybe we can just let go of those feelings for for a few moments. We let the face soften, the forehead smooth, the tension softens away from around the eyes and the jaw. Staying here for longer is good if you have time to do that. Otherwise, you can take a deep breath, you can take a stretch here. You take your own time to bring yourself slowly up to sitting. We might just recall our intention here. As you bow forward, I am kind. Namaste. Thank you.